Hello there, you zoggers, and welcome to 630,000 orcs that are ready to do some crumping against the death core of Krieg defense line. Will the Kriegers and their conscript allies be able to hold against the overwhelming odds? As always, if you do enjoy this content, do leave a like and consider subscribing, as that's the best way to support the channel. And now, let's get on with the slaughter. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off today's fight. A gigantic orc horde is about to take on the Kriegers, and the Kriegers are being supported here by a bunch of conscripts. The conscripts are going to be charging forward and trying to engage the melee horde, the orc horde in melee here. But first things first, the orcs need to plow their way through this tiny little village that the Kriegers are going to try to be holding. You can see that a bunch of them are on the roofs. They shall be safe till the end game here for now, as the orcs won't be able to pack their way up there just yet. But unfortunately, the rest of the Kriegers on the ground are going to have to bear the brunt of this gigantic assault of orcs. And my god, there are so many of them already trying to storm the lines. You can see here conscripts making their way forward, trying to meet the choppers who are going to live up to the name and start making sushi out of the poor, flat-covered little imperial fleshy lumps here. That imperial artillery, though, is going to be pounded into the orcs already. You can see them guns going off. We have got lemon Russies on the front line as well. Their zesty goodness is providing fire support. You can see these Kriegers up here, man. They've got such a cool overview. I mean, they can also see the sheer weight of numbers that is going to be forced upon them today. The orcs, though, at the moment, making their way through the first town, getting distracted a little bit as the rest of the conscript line moves up forward, throwing their lives down. To the rest of the Krieg line, the tanks and the artillery compound the orc front lines. At the moment, though, the Imperials are getting the upper hand in kills here. The orcs really need to quicken the pace. You can see Storm Boys, Mega Nobs and Choppers all on the front line here. All supporting Gork, or maybe more. We're not quite sure. The orcs get flying through the air. One thing I'll never ever get tired of is artillery hits landing into the middle of large groups in this game. But look at all that firepower that's coming out from the Imperial line onto our orc front here. The orcs have got a little bit of terrain cover that they can use on some of the approaches. But yeah, look, Imperials coming and throwing their lives down. Little blood lakes are already starting to form. But it does look like the orcs are slowly but surely encircling this tiny little village here, cutting off any chance of escape. Not that the Death Corps would, you know, ever run away. But yeah, look at that. The conscripts, though, struggling actually to get to the front line over here, because we've got this massive group of Death Corps just sitting there. So you can see that all of the conscripts are trying to make their way through. We've got these tiny little gaps that allows some units to trickle through, but most of them are going to be making their way around the outer edges. They're going to be trying to hold these flanks over here. You see the orcs pushing lots of units into it. The Imperials trying to keep up the pace, but there is no fire support on this side for the Imperials. So it is just a conscript line. You can see on the rest of the line, the orcs surging forward, though, even under the weight of fire that is being forced upon them. More and more Imperials run into the breach here. The conscripts throwing down their lives, letting the superior firepower of the Death Corps take its effect. Orcs, man. Oh, they're just getting tossed all over the place as well. Them artillery guns working overtime. There we go. Take that, you zogger. But the orcs are pushing, man. They have made their way past that village. They've killed all the units on the base floor level. So, like I said, the only units that are realistically going to be safe for now are going to be the guys on top here. And that's just simply because the AI can't pat through them naturally. So it'll try to kill everyone who's on the floor first, which is going to be all these guys. So we have got a nice little fire base there in the village, which is going to be laying firepower down into the front lines over here. Bit of an Overwatch role, actually. But look at that orc horde. It is surging forward. It is meeting the Death Corps line. This is where the happy gas mask noises start to ensue, ladies and gentlemen, as shovels come out and start to meet orc head. But the orcs are gaining ground, that cannot be denied. They're chopping their way through them conscripts. The conscripts really are just here to give everyone else a little bit of breathing room. I mean, they're living up to their job. The orcs are getting distracted. Too busy stomping Umis to realise that there's an entire line of Umis shooting at them. Man, we've got a lot of Mega Nobs on this flank over here. They have just been pushing hard So let's go have a bit of an overlook here of the Imperial defense so you can see a bit more what's going on. You can see where all the bright lights are. That's where all the gunners are. The rest of the troops are the melee troops for the Imperials. So we have got quite a wide setup and a long battle line, and it definitely looks like the Orcs have pushed right into the center here. But this is where the firepower is the strongest. Now the Orcs are also going to have a little bit of a problem because of this town here. Look what's happening. It is stemming the flow of Orcs somewhat. It's only allowing a small portion through, which means that some of the firepower can be concentrated on other parts of the line, though it has not helped out the Imperials just yet. Look at the Orcs, man, storming ahead. Choppers at the ready. Both parties here, happy for the melee fight. I swear, man, Kriegers are just Orcs. They're just Orcs reborn as humans. That's all that's happened. They grew from a different mushroom. I mean, it is said that the Kriegers use, you know, genetics to help grow troops quicker from a younger age. So maybe that's where they are. Maybe they're secretly Orcs and they're all mushrooms. Oh my god. The Orcs, man, they are pushing forward, but they're taking so many losses here. The defenders so far, 230,000 kills. The Orcs, though, have pushed past 100,000. And they are now assaulting that front line here of Kriegers. That artillery is helping out a lot, though. Unfortunately, every now and then what will happen is you'll get things like these storm boys. And when they get hit by artillery, they tend to survive, and they'll just land in the middle of a bunch of them and start attacking. So the artillery is sort of a 50-50 detrimental effect here. It helps out massively against this gigantic horde. Man, look at that. Against this gigantic horde. But it is also throwing really tough greenskins right into the middle of the combat line. Luckily, we have got these channels here where conscripts can keep coming forward. Oh, I'm never going to get tired of artillery. But death by death, greenskins are pushing forward, man. They're doing this. They are taking on the Krieg here on this front line. The artillery is working overtime. We have got this little blood lake starting to form, which actually kind of looks like it's drowned a few of the people here. Yes, little Timmy, get out your rubber dinghy. Fun for the entire family. Maybe not for... Oh, God. Yeah, that's a horrific stare. You didn't want to die like that, did you? No. Man, that front line looks brutal, though. Just the Orcs ploughing forward. Like I said, them Lemon Russies trying the best to open up fire. But the Orcs are just surging, man. They've actually capitulated the flank over here. We have got a few of the conscripts trying to plug it in. Is it going to be enough, though? Are the Orcs going to be able to batter the way through these flanks? Flanks are the weakest part here. Though having said that, the centre line is heavily under assault. Let's go over to this flank. Again, it seems like the Orcs are starting to capitulate the flanks ever so slightly. The Death Corps now in melee combat. Them mega knobs really working them flanks. Lots of Storm Boys on the front line, trying to carve a path into them. Again, luckily we've got these narrow little channels between each of the formations, allowing these melee troops to come in. It gives some of the line a little bit of breathing room. But I'm a bit concerned that this blood puddle here is really starting to turn into a proper lake, and it's drowning a lot of defenders at the moment. Some of them are actually mainly melee troops. Actually, I think, yeah, look. Thankfully, a lot of them are melee troops, so they can generally path the way out of that. It's a little bit concerning, though, because I can't see many Death Corps in this mix. I do think that the front line has almost completely capitulated here for Death Corps. Yeah, look, we've only got these few little spatterings of troops remaining now. But the firepower is coming all down to this box formation and the artillery, as well as the tanks. The flanks are currently busy trying to mop up Orc forces. There's 180,000 of them remaining to the 63,000 defenders. But the Orcs are being relentless in this surge. Oh my god, we've got another massive blood lake down here. Look at this one. Let's go take a swim. Oh my god, this one's full of Orcs. I don't think little Timmy will want this one. It might be a little bit smelly. But yeah, the Orcs are pushing forward, man. They're starting to run out of troops in the centre line. And they're now just being shot in the back. We have got a bunch of Kriegers over here, still just railing on that back line, which is actually really invaluable. Kind of gets the orcs stuck in a pincer of firepower. So many little blood lakes as well. Timmy is very happy in this one. But we have got these massive blobs of orcs on the side. So while the center line might be being cleared out little by little, these flanks are looking very dangerous here. Are we going to get a last stand in our box formation? I don't know. We've still got quite a few conscripts, it feels like. But they are getting distracted. We have got a real thinning out to the orc lines here. Like I said, and there we go. An official gap has been cleared out. Then melee troops providing invaluable support for the Death Corps, who have just been holding on by a hair's breadth. Again, we've got another clearance in the line here. More melee troops pushing forward for both sides, trying to capitulate. Them Krieg guns have been working overtime, but I'm really interested in what's going to happen in the flanks. It feels like we've got massive amounts of orcs still in the flanks. So they really need to clear up the flanks very quickly, the orcs do. And then move on to clearing out the center. If they can start distracting that center box formation, that might give them a chance to push these flanks really heavily. See, more and more orcs are pushing around, trying to re-engage the Death Corps. But the conscripts are plugging in any little gaps. We have got this last little gaggle of the orcs now, trying to push over the breach. They have capitulated that front line of Death Corps, though. It is completely disintegrated, and in its place is a mound of orc bodies. But it does feel like we broke the back of the orc center line here. So now we've just got these flanks to worry about. There's hardly any conscripts remaining for the Imperials. But the orcs are also running out of troops here. 52,000 remaining. 23,000 defenders. And they are getting encircled. It has been a brutal fight, but no one's actually got to the artillery yet. That has been critical to the defenders. You can see that box formation lending its firepower now. No longer distracted by the center lines. It's able to split its firepower between the two flanks. And it's going to be a major push here for the orcs. They need to get these Death Corps down real quick, but they're putting up such a fight. The orcs truly meeting their match when it comes to infantrymen of the Imperial Guard. I bet on some weird level the orcs probably respect the Death Corps. Because the orcs aren't about... It's weird to say, but the orcs don't really want to kill things. As odd as that sounds, they prefer to have a good old scrap and then go your separate ways. That is sort of like... It's weird. That's orc culture. But it's always portrayed them as real nasty brutes who are just all about death and killing. And it's not true. It's sort of like fencing. They enjoy a good scrap. They don't necessarily want to die during that scrap. It might happen, that's all, and they accept that fate. Oh, a fate which they're accepting now. As the army numbers start to equalise here, the artillery has done its work, scattering and smashing orc hordes. The conscripts, I don't know what a conscript is. That's a conscript made out of scones. It's a conscript. But they have also done their work. It cannot be underestimated. The amount of death that they've had to suffer, though the Kriegers here can lay down that firepower, as well as the artillery guns, man. Everything has done a unique job here. And we've still got the defense waiting in the village just in case anything that should falter. But it does look like we're cleaning up the rest of the orcs on this line. The last few being absolutely gunned down and bayoneted. I just love how the orcs just tower over the average Imperial man. Like, the rocket on the orcs backpack here is as big as the Guardsman. It's insane. How we doing on this side? Here we go. The last surge of orcs. Making their way right into that Death Corps line, and that artillery totally having other ideas for this orc horde. Scattering and abolishing in them. As we come down to the last 15, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's safe to say that the Death Corps of Krieg won this one. Oh my god, yes they did. Look at that battlefield, man. Just covered in blood and bodies. But of course, all good things must come to an end, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A massive shout out to all our channel members who help to keep this channel going. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button below. While you're at it, go ahead and check out the Chaotic Pinky store. We've got some amazingly cool merch over there. With all that being said, as always, until next time, peace.